Much. Now, for more on all of this, we are pleased to be joined from Newsmax, New York, by left-leaning radio and TV commentator Ellis Henican, and via Skype from Atlanta, Georgia, a right-thinking lady, the co-founder of the Women Vote Trump PAC, Amy Kremer. Now, according to a new AP poll, most Trump supporters will have serious doubts about the legitimacy of the outcome of the election should Hillary win. Here's the way it breaks down. According to respondents in this AP poll, only 35% will accept the results. 64% say they're suspicious. They would not accept the results. It's different should Hillary win. Her supporters say, yeah, absolutely. 69% are all for the election results. Only 35% might be a bit suspicious. Let me ask you, Amy Kremer, there are going to be a lot of people. I can hear it now. Maybe I'm for some reason I'm channeling Ellis's response. But the so-called goo-goos, the good government types, are going to say, I'm shocked that anyone would doubt the outcome of the election. Is this kind of polling helpful to the Trump campaign, this kind of response from self-identified Trump supporters at this point in time, Amy?
You know, JD, thanks for having me, first of all. But we need to be working like we're losing every single day from now to election day. Everybody should have been working that way all along. At this point, the only poll that matters is the last one when the ballot box closes on election day. And so I have been telling everybody, turn off the TV, don't listen to the media, because there obviously is a bias. And whether it is that, you know, they're saying now Donald Trump's trying to suppress the vote, or Donald Trump thinks it's rigged, it doesn't matter. You know what? We have our two candidates, like them or not. They are our two candidates, and election day is 11 days away, and you need to go out and work for your candidate.
There may be one point of unanimity, Ellis, and it is this. Amy's words that both candidates and their supporters should work as if they are behind. But from there, I'm guessing you may have a little different take on this AP poll.
No, I agree entirely with Amy. I mean, yeah, go vote, support who you like, work hard, pretend your guy is, or your woman is way behind. I mean, that's how you keep energy up to election day. That's great advice. All Americans should follow that, I think.
All right, well, to this whole notion of rigging, Donald Trump appeared on the O'Reilly Factor last night. Donald says he cannot reassure voters that there may not be some problems at the polls. Here's the way it went down.
I can reassure him. I think things are going on that aren't good. And I think you look at Texas, a lot of calls were made from Texas, an incredible place. I love Texas. And the lines are massive. And they were talking about flipping, you know, where they press a button and they press it for me and another name comes up.
Yeah, this was one of the more disturbing reports on the internet over the past couple of days. Voters go to vote Trump, it shows up Clinton. And we've heard it more often than not, but what is somewhat, I'm a little at a loss on this, Amy. We're hearing from some people that that was inaccurate. But if voters said that happened, shouldn't we take the voters' word for it?
Actually, I do think we should take the voters' word for it. And I have heard a lot about that. And it was mentioned last night, I believe Megyn Kelly talked about it. Look, this is the whole thing about the rigging, JD, is that there is voter fraud in this country. There absolutely is. And everybody can say, you know, the media can say it's not there, but it does happen. And you can go to heritage.org and they have documented it. There's a 219-page document that tells about voter fraud in this country over the past number of years. It is a very real thing. And I think it is something that we need to deal with. We need to deal with it. It's kind of like maintenance on a car. You can have the best car in the world and you want that car to continue running, but you have to do maintenance on it. We need to be looking at these things all the time, because our vote is the most sacred thing that we have as Americans, and we have lost national blood and treasure to be able to cast those votes. And we all should want our votes cast and to be counted. And the thing about voter fraud is what some don't understand is that, you know, when there's voter fraud out there and a ballot's cast that shouldn't be cast, it actually can cancel yours out. That's why it's a big deal. We need to deal with it. But I think at the end of the day, I hope we are all able to come together after Election Day, and I hope there's not a lot of funny business. I hope that People do what they're supposed to do, and let's win this election fair and square.
Ellis, well, we've got a little pause here, and it's worth me reaching out to people. The only thing almost as sacred as your vote is your right to comment on what may happen, and we invite you to do that at 1-877-NEWSMAX. That's 1-877-639-7629. Ellis, I know you're listening thoughtfully to what Amy had to say. What about voter fraud? Because, you know, we've had some folks on the left and the line, oh, there's no vote fraud. There's nothing like it. What say you, Ellis?
I think you all have yourself revved into a ridiculous frenzy, to tell you the truth. I mean, first of all, is there any fraud anywhere? Of course, it's a big nation. There's always somebody who's going to do something crazy. But the Trump campaign and some on the right are pandering to dumb people with this, right? There's no evidence at all that any of this stuff reaches any level that has any imaginable chance of affecting this election week Tuesday. It's something that you do to placate people who are frustrated that their candidate isn't doing well. It's an excuse for Donald Trump to try to float because he knows he's going to get his butt kicked. And it's something that actually feeds what is a provably false narrative. And I think you ought to pull off of it because it just makes your people sound silly.
You say it's a provably false narrative. Then account for me, the people from Acorn who took up residence in Ohio, voted in New York and Ohio in 2012. Take into account for me the woman from Cincinnati who voted, was it 6 or 12 times for the Obama ticket and very belatedly was charged with voter fraud. All this is just isolated. And you're, quote, stupid if you have concerns about it. That's what you're telling me, Ellis.
In a nation, I'm sorry that you disagree, JD, but in a nation that casts as many votes as we have, it is an absolutely trivial, tiny, tiny number. In fact, the examples you cited, you can't even with a straight face make an argument that that had any effect on any result of any election anywhere. This is just seriously, this is excuse time. This is a candidacy that's going down, looking for a reason to explain to the poor disappointed folks out there why their guy is been such a flop.
What about it, Amy?
Let me jump in here because Al Franken was elected to the United States Senate. He was the 60th vote on health care. He was elected by 352 votes. After that election, we find out 1,099 felons voted in that election and 177 have been convicted, not charged, but convicted of voter fraud. How can you say it doesn't make a difference? It does. It has the ability to make a difference. I'm not saying it makes a difference everywhere, that it impacts every single state, but it is an issue. And some of these states are battleground states, and it's something that we need to be concerned about. Why is the DNC filing?
You know, Amy, what's a much bigger issue here is voting rights, is all these organized efforts to try and stop people from voting, legal people coming up with crazy ID requirements, grilling folks at the polls, suggesting that these militia members go hang out at the polls to try and intimidate voters.
Now, Ellis, you are getting far afield.
You're talking about.
Now you're getting far afield. The fact is,
I know you don't like anyone to mention that, JD,
you are attempting to conflate voter identification with voter suppression. Again, by your rights, any security at the airport would be aviation suppression. No, the fact is,
there's no security issue
yes,
here.
there is absolutely a security issue.
Security.
There is nothing more sacred.
You're the one who wants people to bring guns to vote, right? You think people should bring guns
There
into
is
the voting
nothing
booth,
more
right?
sacred. I think they should bring a valid ID. Amy, I'll let you get in on this again.
No, I think that it's absolutely okay to request a valid ID. You have to have a valid ID to vote here in the state of Georgia. I mean,
why do you think people want to do that, Amy?
You have to have a valid ID to get into the DNC convention that was in Philadelphia in July. Why should you have to have a valid ID
It's
to
not
get
a
in there?
constitutional right.
To go vote. I mean, a valid ID to go vote. I mean, what is
It's a
wrong?
constitutional right to vote.
Well, there is a right to vote, but with that right comes a responsibility.
It's your right, JD.
And every right has a corresponding responsibility, and we have to have the responsibility to vote and be who we say we are. Our responsibility is to step aside for a second. We invite your calls at 1-877-NEWSMAX. Amy and Ellis will stay with us. You do too, because as you can see, this is quite an invigorating conversation.